So, The Last of Us 2 is already making history in the gaming industry for a number of different reasons. First and foremost, it was likely subjected to one of the largest and most comprehensive leaks we have ever seen in the entire space. These leaks are still, as of yet, operating at an unproven level of accuracy owing to the timing and how aggressively Sony has been targeting their spread, as well as a lack of any official statement from the development team beyond, "We are sad, can't wait for you to play the game though," and one of the voice actors saying, "You can't judge from a couple of screenshots, even though multiple hours of complete footage was leaked." Be real, Troy Baker. I love your work, man, but that was a really stupid ass thing to say. Regardless, there was a massive amount of leaked material, and a lot of it has caused at least some degree of unrest. However, with all that said, the game will likely still sell phenomenally well and be extremely popular to a certain audience. However, that popularity might not extend to certain sovereign nations, as it appears the game has been banned in both Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. This is where things get a little bit tricky. The ban is almost assuredly centered around sexuality, or perhaps nudity, I'm not really sure, but the gist of it is the very same things that make the game progressive and, for lack of a better word here, woke, are the things that prevent it from being shown in areas with less relative social freedom. I won't say anything specific here at all about spoilers, but we know a few different things from the initial trailer and world reveal, like the fact that Ellie is a lesbian with a partner, and scenes of intimacy are comfortably shown during cinematics, at the very least with insinuated context for romantic relations between the partners, which is not exactly a topic that is universally accepted across the entire globe. Fortunately, in America, we have fairly rigid standards for narrative and commercial freedom when it comes to these sorts of topics. Artistic vision is to be respected and allowed with great emphasis here, and the game can be crafted in the way that Naughty Dog wants it to be, for better or for worse, but the same standard is not mirrored in all other countries. Here's the problem. With an atmosphere of distaste aimed squarely at the perceived choices Naughty Dog has made, a ban in certain Middle Eastern countries can become a tool to lash out yet again for gaming journalists. Gamesindustry.biz, sadly, since it is a site I have found some rather well-crafted articles on in the past, published a take on how gaming's lost boys embrace their inner censor, which is basically a giant condemnation of conservative gamers and creators because they support censorship now while they didn't in the past. This could make sense and would be a very clear example of hypocrisy if it were true. However, nowhere in the entire article are examples given. I had to read it twice, seriously, to be sure, because if true, that's practically unbelievable. But yes, not one single example is given of these angry hypocrites. Not a single quote from the spittle-flecked YouTube videos or whatever they said that the author decries. Nothing at all to highlight actual examples of anyone who is celebrating the censorship of the game in the Middle East, because hardly anyone is. At this point, an easy deflection, and by easy I mean horribly researched, ignorant, and lazy, but an easy deflection would be to say, well, Upper Echelon, you yourself made a video called Last of Us 2 could damage gaming for years, and it got a lot of views because of that title and because of the subject matter. You are part of the problem. You should have just used yourself as an example, which might seem possibly accurate if you only read the title, but it falls flat on its face when you realize that my entire position was to depict these themes in a carefully crafted way so as to not reinforce negative stereotypes or create future knee-jerk reactions to character identities through the malicious and deliberate destruction of what fans have loved up until this point in order to just make a statement. I have adamantly defended the right of artists to express themselves in whatever way they see fit. I use the sculpture at Dachau as an example to paint a picture of how artwork does not always have to make you feel good in order to be artistic. And though if some of the recent information revealed proves to be correct, such as how the dogs are crafted with incredible accuracy to whimper in pain and have their masters mourn their loss if they get killed, I just don't want to do that. That won't make me feel good. That's not going to be fun for me. But even if it's true and heart-wrenching, I will defend to my last breath the artist's ability to have that freedom. Last of Us 2 being banned in certain Middle Eastern countries is a sad thing. It's 100% expected, mind you, given the subject matter and the political climate of those nations, but it is a sad thing nonetheless because even if a significant number of people hate, despise, or disagree with an artistic work, and all of this is predicated on our acceptance that video games are works of art, because they are, but just because a large number of people hate or disagree with that work, it does not require that it be banned, censored, or destroyed. The thing is, gamesindustry.biz has taken a very expected scenario, which is a ban in certain Middle Eastern countries, which has happened many times in the past for a bunch of other games and titles, and crafted a massive article denouncing a certain demographic of creators and gamers, mostly based on their political leanings, without one single example of who they are or what they actually said. And it's like if I make a 20-minute video saying, all these garbage liberal media outlets are screaming about how happy they are that social media might get regulated. Hypocrisy. But I give no citations, no examples, no quotes, no specifics on which outlets said it, in what articles, just nothing. The truth is, that is, the truth this writer knows but doesn't like and will deliberately ignore because otherwise he couldn't write the article, but the truth is, very few, if any, video game fans at all are happy that the game will be banned in other countries. They just aren't. Even if they despise the artistic choices or the narrative decisions, they are not happy it will be banned because, one, that is a massively hypocritical stance, obviously, which is impossible to reconcile internally for most people. Two, even if they hate it, they are still capable of understanding that government regulation of what can and cannot be dispersed commercially for goods and services, especially something like video games, which are artwork, is wrong. And three, the fundamental premise of I don't like it so it shouldn't exist. Yeah, that's not a mindset typically attributed to the more conservative creator or gamer communities. In fact, I would argue it's the exact opposite. This torrent of anger does exist, but it exists because there are perceived story beats that fly in the face of what fans were hoping for, what they pictured, and what they desire to play. What they see is disrespect for the franchise that they have loved for many, many years. Whether or not that's actually true, we will have to wait and see. It's up in the air right now. Some reviews come out on the 12th, and then actual legitimate feedback comes out on the 19th and the 20th when the game launches. GamesIndustry.biz has taken an event, which is the discovery that The Last of Us 2 will likely be banned in a couple of foreign countries, expectedly, I might add, written an entire article about how gamers and conservative creators are horrible, prejudicial morons, slapped a title on it that has absolutely no relation to what is contained within it, given zero examples of what, when, where, why, and then published it as if the column is anything less than an embarrassment to the industry. They describe an endless, barren wasteland of grizzled yet virile men who speak in emotionless grunts and mostly communicate through violence. I'm not kidding, that's actually what they say. But they give no examples of who those men are, highlight no quotes, point to none of the lamented videos, none of the forum posts or comments. Why? The answer is simple. The article is broad strokes. It's a hit piece designed to attack a massively broad audience, but its foundational premise is that there are hypocritical voices supporting censorship of the game in certain countries, and they simply couldn't find material to support that. Or, another option, which is completely possible and worse, they are somehow so pathetically piss poor at writing that they didn't even think to add or find examples to support their work and underpin their assertions, in which case they should be finding a new job. The Last of Us 2 being struck down by certain countries is not a good thing. You will be very hard-pressed to find any credible voices at all saying that it is, but criticizing narrative decisions while still fully understanding the fundamental right of the developers to do whatever they want, that is rampant, and that is a fully justified action, as it would be in any other industry under any other set of circumstances. The article concludes with the following. Perhaps once you've found yourself making common cause with oppressive regimes in the Middle East in your campaign to stop video games from being a little more diverse, it's time to throw in the towel. What the absolute is that? What is that statement? On the most basic level, yes, it's true. If you find yourself intellectually regressing to the point where you support an oppressive regime telling you what games you can and can't play, it really is time to take a beat and think about your life. But this writer has never actually said, in the 13 paragraphs prior, a single person or group or example that has legitimately done this. When I rage against the idiocy of gaming media, I show the articles. I show the examples of what caused me to have that impression. I highlight where these things were published, what outlet made the claims, why the claims are wrong, and make plain the precise points of who I am criticizing as well as when the content was posted. Basically, who, what, when, where, why. The antithesis of adequate journalism is writing an article that demonizes a broad strokes demographic with no evidence, no examples, and no location. The whole thing is just one big why, as in why the author hates a bunch of people because they don't think the same way he does, so they are awful by default. without ever actually making it clear who those people even are, because he can't. He is incapable. There are plenty of things in this world to be mad about, especially right now due to current events, but hypocrisy over censorship is not one of them, because largely speaking, it does not exist in the capacity that he is arguing. I struggle to find the proper words with which to articulate just how intellectually vapid these journalists have become. The only barren wasteland here, truly the only one, is their own integrity and critical thinking process. But that's it for today, though. If you want to support, there are links down below: merch, Patreon, Twitter, other social media, another gaming YouTuber to support as well, but I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching, and have a nice night.